Hey there. All right, so I'm highlighting this statement not to make fun of you or anything like that. And I love that you, by the way, Hambone, were very open to receiving the information that people put under your post to explain how this isn't correct, right? Um, because if people don't realize hip hop's birth 50 years ago was political and was protest. And as people did point out, there were other people. And I think what a lot of folks get stuck on is the delivery. But music's job is to talk to the people who like those forms of music. So, rock, alternative, folk, blues, R&B, hip hop, country. There are people who use their means, their methods to get their messages across to the people who listen to them, right? And all that is very, very good. But what people get stuck on when it comes down to rap and hip hop is, and I won't even say the expletives because so many other forms use expletives. They get stuck on their own biases. Let's be perfectly honest, because it is a form that is traditionally only belonging to, except for a few outliers, um, to a culture that I will say the majority of this country is not a part of, and as such, pretends they don't understand. And I say pretend because this translates into other means of art. For instance, Black Panther, even though it did phenomenally well in the box office, there were many people of a different hue who did not watch it because they didn't think it would speak to them. It's literally a Marvel movie. So I don't understand. Um, and even Blue Beetle, for instance, Blue Beetle was amazing. And unfortunately, it was DC because DC's things tend to not be as light. And I do mean probably just color because DC tends to be very, very dark visually. Not getting too far from the point. So there were people on here, and this is why I'm using your comment is to kind of answer everybody else. There were people on here who said that Kendrick was shit, and it's like, how did you get that when literally all you have to do is watch any of the discourse about the show to see the storytelling, and I have many of them reposted on my page here, that will help you understand that if you did not understand what he was talking about, and you choose to not understand what he's talking about, then you are participating in what he's talking about, right? And willingly, complicitly participating. Uh, One of the most recent reposts I shared is of an older woman, 70s, 80s. Um, Hopefully, I'm not making her older than she is, but she is understanding. She really gets it. And so, if someone else of a younger generation doesn't, this is a choice. This is a choice. There are so many people here who are educating on what everything meant as it gets unveiled, and so it's a choice. You choose. Just understand, like we're dealing with now, your choices do have consequences. Choosing ignorance does not keep you away from participating in the find out era that we are all in, even those of us who got an A on our part of the project. Oh man. Additionally, people are like, what has Beyonce done? Because I did mention her in my video. She's been doing since the first administration. Like, her Super Bowl show was like, she performed Information. She did so in a Black Panther outfit. Also a nod to Michael Jackson. Y'all think Michael Jackson was nice. He was not. He was revolutionary. He got Scream. He got They Don't Really Care About Us. He got Heal the World. Yeah, it's laid over some nice tracks, but he was being revolutionary as well. Prince was revolutionary. Y'all be like, it's like when y'all talk about Martin Luther King, right? Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King, and y'all say things like, oh, he was so calm and peaceful. You missed them quotes in the later time, but shortly before his death, where he was like, F that, let's fight back. Okay? And that's why they had to take him out, because he stopped just marching. And he was like, all right, what we finna do? Him and Malcolm were getting ready to meet, because we could try peace, but when we're up against prejudice that is deliberate and willful, you got to try another action. And they took him out. So, so Beyonce's been doing it. And I don't care if you don't like her as a human being. There are so many people I don't care for as a human being. And first of all, for you not to like somebody you actually don't know, who has not personally impacted you, is like weird as like it really is. I'm sorry. I ain't mean to say the F word. I might I'm gonna edit to silence on that one. But anyway. And for people to be like, all they're doing is making a song, let me explain to you. Everybody has their role. Okay? And I'm not talking to you, Hambone. I'm talking to some of these asinine comments. Everybody has their role. And artists' roles typically are to reflect the reality of life. Sometimes it's also to reflect a promise on the other side of this, right? But an artist's role, an author, a visual artist, a musician, a dancer, their roles are political, not just pleasure. Because at some point, they understand that they have to be a part of the fight. And music becomes that. I had someone say, what happened to the old days of like Nina Simone and Marvin Gaye? They got political and they use their music. So everybody has a role. And a musician's role is to permeate, is to cut through the haze, the hypnosis that life has over us, and touch us where we need to be. And that's in our emotions, and that's in our thought process. We lean on music when we're sad, we lean on music when we're angry, we lean on music when we're happy. And music has the ability to wake us up, just like every other type of art. It has the ability to help us feel something, just like every other type of art. There are people in my comments who talked about how they cried, or how it made them emotional, or they were like, yes, let's effing go. Because that's music's job. Okay? And then to the response of Macklemore going for Jill Stein, I did a video earlier, and you can find it on my page here, where I talk about it's time for action over anger. I too am someone who will get triggered by someone and go, but you voted for this, right? And that anger burst comes out. I get it. I understand it. I think it was so dumb for people to vote for Jill Stein. However, I understand the bots and trolls that came out and manipulated them. So for someone to go, okay, well, he's not saying he's wrong. That is what y'all really need to do. And I really appreciate those people who are coming out and saying, I was wrong to vote for Trump. But some of you are just coming out because it's hurting you instead of the fact that it's hurting everyone else. But if you acknowledge your thing, listen, most people will welcome you back into the fold if you acknowledge your mistakes. Like, let's stop being psychologically abusive to each other and just like, all right, now I'm on your team. No. Mm-mm. Say sorry first. Say sorry first. Say I was wrong first. And then let's go. Okay? But I need you to acknowledge it so we can get together and do action. And so this is him acknowledging a wrong thing, I guess. But like I said, I'm not going to put in words that he said he apologized. But y'all, we got to get into action now. Let's go.